Against Kerala story 2. Kerala tourism posts no beef with anyone videos mocking the trailer's forced beef scene. Amid Karur stampede scrutiny, TVK rules out alliance with the BJP, alleges the party chief Vijay was pressurized to ally, but he remained firm. To bolster revenue, Himachal government announced a steep hike in entry toll rates for vehicles arriving from other states. Entry toll tax raised by a whopping 250%. French President Emmanuel Macron thanks India with a Dhurandar's title track video, shares favourite moments from his 3-day visit, including the AI summit, praises the warm welcome. Amid escalating tensions, Trump warns of bad things if Iran doesn't strike a deal, weighs initial limited strike options. Iran responds with threats to target US military bases. Politics and controversy cast a shadow over the India AI Impact Summit. There were dramatic scenes that unfolded inside the Bharat Mandapam venue. Today, members of the Indian Youth Congress staged a protest in one of those halls, with some demonstrators carrying out a shirtless protest. They were raising slogans against Prime Minister Modi and the central government. The protest was over the India-US trade deal. They claimed it was unfair and that the Prime Minister and the Modi government had surrendered to the United States. The BJP has now accused the Congress of exposing what is called an anti-India mindset. Why is the Congress adamant on tarnishing the country's image is a question the BJP asked. Meanwhile, the Delhi police has confirmed that arrests have been made. 4 to 5 people have been detained. Authorities are verifying how they gained entry, and an FIR will be registered shortly.
सर, ये पूरी घटना कितने बजे की और क्या हुआ था?
लगभग 12:30 बजे कुछ लोग वैलिड QR कोड के साथ में, जो जनता को सभी को रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए MIT की वेबसाइट पे उपलब्ध है, उन्होंने वहाँ पर रजिस्टर किया और उस QR कोड को लेके भारत मंडपम में एंट्री की। इन्होंने जो ऑब्जेक्शनेबल टी-शर्ट डिस्प्ले किया, उसके ऊपर से इन्होंने स्वेटर जैकेट पहने हुए थे। हॉल नंबर 5 के लॉबी एरिया में आके इन्होंने स्वेटर और जैकेट को उतारा और ऑब्जेक्शनेबल टी-शर्ट के साथ में प्रोटेस्ट किया। ये इंडियन यूथ कांग्रेस से बिलोंग करते हैं। इनमें से 4 लोगों को हमने डिटेन किया है, बाकी की पहचान कर रहे हैं और अप्रोप्रिएट लीगल एक्टिविटीज कर रहे हैं।
सर, टोटल कितने ये कार्यकर्ता थे और कैसे एंट्री करी इन्होंने और किस जगह घटना हुई अंदर, ये किस हॉल में?
ये MIT की वेबसाइट पे इन्होंने अपने आप को रजिस्टर किया, जिससे इनके ईमेल पे QR कोड आया। इन्होंने QR कोड डिस्प्ले करके एंट्री की और अपनी जो टी-शर्ट के ऊपर स्वेटर और जैकेट पहना था इंडियन यूथ कांग्रेस के सभी वर्कर्स ने। इन्होंने लॉबी एरिया जो है हॉल नंबर 5 का, वहाँ पे इन्होंने प्रोटेस्ट किया और इनमें से 4 लोगों को हमने डिटेन कर लिया, बाकी की भी हम पहचान कर रहे हैं।
सर, आप लोगों ने वहीं पे इनको काबू कर लिया था? पुलिस की प्रेजेंस काफी थी वहाँ पर?
हाँ, हमने वहाँ पे उनको 4 लोगों को उनमें से डिटेन कर।
सर, ये कौन लोग हैं, क्या नाम है इनका, क्या डेजिग्नेशन है?
ये इंडियन यूथ कांग्रेस के ही वर्कर हैं। जो हमने डिटेन किए उनमें से एक का नाम कृष्णा हरी है, जो बिहार के रहने वाले हैं, जो राष्ट्रीय सचिव हैं 35 साल के। दूसरे कुंदन लाल यादव, जो राष्ट्रीय या प्रदेश सचिव हैं इंडियन यूथ कांग्रेस के। तीसरे अजय कुमार हैं, जो यूपी के प्रदेश उपाध्यक्ष हैं पूर्वी यूपी के। और नरसिम्हा यादव, जो तेलंगाना के रहने वाले हैं, वो नेशनल कोऑर्डिनेटर हैं इंडियन यूथ कांग्रेस।
सर, एक आखिरी सवाल, क्या इसके पीछे कोई लॉस कॉन्स्पिरेसी नजर आ रही है सर? क्योंकि इमेज खराब करने की कोशिश की गई सरकार की, देश की, इतना बड़ा इंटरनेशनल इवेंट था।
निश्चित ही इसमें हम लीगल एक्शन लेंगे, अप्रोप्रिएट लीगल एक्शन लिया जाएगा और हर एंगल की इसकी जांच जरूर की जाएगी।
मैं राहुल गांधी जी के पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं ने जो भद्दी हरकत की है, उसकी घोर निंदा करता हूं। ये कांग्रेस का अहंकार और साथ साथ उनकी निराशा का प्रतीक है। उनसे बर्दाश्त नहीं हो रहा है कि देश की जनता ने तीसरी बार माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को देश की कमान संभालने के लिए दी और उनके नेतृत्व में देश कैसे तेजी से प्रगति भी कर रहा है, विकास भी कर रहा है और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पटल पर भारत का वर्चस्व बढ़ते जा रहा है। वो कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि भारत को शर्मिंदगी महसूस करवाना दुनिया के सामने, लेकिन मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि उनके इस हरकतों से प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की लोकप्रियता और भारत का जो आज विश्व में स्थान है, जो विश्वसनीयता है भारत के प्रति, उसमें कोई आंच नहीं आ पाएगी।
उनको कोई नहीं समझा सकता उनका तो काम ही यही है। ज़रूर वो काफ़ी डर गए होंगे कि इतना अच्छा, इतना शानदार एआई समिट कैसे हुआ। और दूसरी बात, भारत जब तेज़ी से आगे जा रहा है, जैसे नौजवानों की आवाज़ आपने सुनी, पीपल फ्रॉम ऑल पार्ट्स ऑफ द कंट्री आर basically they are looking at this as a new opportunity for them, and this is the time when we should keep the summit above politics. We should make sure that everybody supports, everybody cooperates with this effort. Then only the country can grow forward. अगर कांग्रेस अपने केवल उसी माइंडसेट में रहेगी जब कि उन्हें हर चीज़ में विघ्न डालना है, तो भगवान बचाए उन्हें।
कांग्रेस के कार्यकर्ताओं ने एआई समिट में कपड़े नहीं उतारे, कांग्रेस को नंगा किया है। कांग्रेस का असली चेहरा देश के सामने आ गया है, और वो चेहरा है एआई, मतलब अगेंस्ट इंडिया। एक ऐसा प्रतिष्ठित मंच जहां सारी दुनिया भारत की प्रगति और संभावनाओं को निहार रही है, वहां जाके ऐसा भोंडा और अराजक प्रदर्शन, ये केवल कपड़े नहीं उतारे, ये हमारे देश की छवि के साथ छेड़छाड़ है।
शर्मनाक घटना भारत मंडपम में करने का प्रयास कांग्रेस के युवा संगठन ने करने का प्रयास किया है। पूरी दुनिया के अंदर भारत की छवि को खराब करने का कुत्सित प्रयास हुआ और हम इसकी निंदा करते हैं। यह बहुत ही शर्मनाक घटना है कांग्रेस के लोगों के द्वारा, कांग्रेस के नेताओं का। ये यानी देश की कीमत पर ये लोग खिलवाड़ करना चाहते हैं। राजनीति होती है, आरोप प्रत्यारोप होते हैं, लेकिन हम देश की कीमत पर सौदेबाजी करें, देश की छवि के साथ खिलवाड़ करें, जहां 100 से अधिक देशों के लोग भागीदार बन रहे हों, वहां पर इस प्रकार के उत्पात मचा करके अराजकता फैलाने का प्रयास असह्य है। और मुझे लगता है कि हर भारतवासी को इस घटना की निंदा करनी चाहिए, भर्त्सना करनी चाहिए, और जो भी इसके पीछे है उसके खिलाफ कठोरतम कार्रवाई की जानी चाहिए, जो लोग भारत की छवि को खराब करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं।
There's severe backlash for the protests that transpired at Bharat Mandapam by Youth Congress leaders. So far, Congress officially has not come out and said anything, but Youth Congress president that spoke with CNN News 18 earlier today came out and justified this kind of action. What's wrong in raising questions against the government? Was their justification? My colleagues Anvit and Pallavi now join us, getting us more perspective on this. Ananya also joining us, getting us more details. Pallavi, any reaction from the Congress on this? Because it's not just the BJP that's raising hackles, but there is a lot of backlash on social media as well for such a protest.
But they completely remain brazen, Poonam, and completely unrepentant. No apology coming in, no clarification coming in. And frankly speaking, Uday Chib, who is the president of the Youth Congress, would not have defended his action if he hadn't got that blessing from the top. So it's clear that the Congress party is also now indulging in whataboutery, which is, if the BJP can do it, why should we not do it? And they're throwing it back at the BJP, saying, look, the Prime Minister has compromised on India's interest to the Indo-US trade deal. The Prime Minister has also had many of his ministers mentioned the Epstein files. So they have spoiled the chavi of the country. Why is it that, you're pointing a finger at the Youth Congress? So the Congress party, as of now, no comments, no reprimand, and it's business as usual for them.
Right, no reprimand as far as the Congress is concerned, and as far as the Youth Congress was concerned, there's only justification. What is wrong in such a protest was what the Youth Congress president had to say, had to tell Pallavi, in fact, who we spoke with earlier. My colleagues Anvit and Ananya also continue to be with us, but for the benefit of our viewers who are just joining in, this is what transpired at Bharat Mandapam during that AI Impact Summit earlier today. The kind of visuals that we saw coming in from that protest site, well, everyone in this country has the right to protest, but there's a right place and right time for it, and this clearly wasn't one of them. This is the kind of visuals that came in through the fore. It was a brief protest. It was just for a few minutes. But there you see these Youth Congress workers there, some of whom are shirtless, waving those shirts as a sign of protest against the Prime Minister, against the Modi government, claiming that this government government was a sellout on the India-US trade. There you go. These individuals, all belonging to the Youth Congress, walked into one of the halls, one of the venues at Bharat Mandapam where the AI summit was being held. Several of them stood there with that particular t-shirt, with that picture of Prime Minister Modi, and his deal was against the interests of Indians, against the interests of Indian farmers, and that's something that they raised their voice against. Again, you see there, some of them in fact trying to tear their shirts, trying to stand there completely topless, even as they were eventually being evicted by the organizers, by the Delhi police there. There was some amount of intervention by the security there, after which some of them were detained, at least 4 or 5 of them, and an FIR would be shortly lodged is what we are given to understand. Anvit and Ananya continue to be with us on this. Ananya, as far as the Congress is concerned, they are brazening this out. Even if there is an FIR, they do have a legal strategy prepared, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. In fact, there is a political war of words that has emerged on the side. It's all snowballing as far as the AI summit is concerned, because many are, condemning the kind of act that had happened, and clearly, everybody is questioning the forum. Nobody is questioning the right to protest, but the forum where this protest was actually staged, and that stage, and that is something that is making things much murkier. Though the Congress party is trying to defend it, and majorly these were the people who were belonging to, and some of them also being office bearers of the Youth Congress, is something that makes it much more murkier as far as the political war of words is concerned. As far as the investigation is concerned, our colleague Anvit had been bringing out those details for us, and top sources had also told CNN News 18 very clearly that FIR in this case is in the process of being filed. People would be arrested, and more importantly that the investigation, that the prima facie view of the investigators is that it was a pre-planned incident, and there were proper planning that was done. QR badges were obtained after clear registration, and these controversial t-shirts were actually hid under other clothes, and when they found the time to be right, they unleash these t-shirts and start raising slogans, and that is the sequence of event that comes out in the play as far as the preliminary investigation is concerned. Where all does this lead to is something that only time and investigation would tell us, but clearly this is a thing that is snowballing politically as well as legally itself.
Right, Ananya, do stay on with us. So who are these individuals that indulged in such a protest that the BJP claims brings shame not to the Congress party but to the entire country? These are the men that you are going to be seeing on your screens who indulged in that particular protest at Bharat Mandapam earlier today. Narasimha Yadav is a national coordinator of the Congress party. He's seen sharing the stage. He's seen in pictures with several top Congress leaders, including Rahul Gandhi. Another individual who has been identified by the Delhi police now, who was briefly detained after that protest, was Krishna Hari. He belongs to the Bihar unit of the Youth Congress. He's a national secretary, in fact, an office bearer of Bihar Youth Congress there. These are not individuals who just owe their affiliation to the Congress party, but many of them are office bearers of the Congress party. Kundan Yadav was another one that has been identified and named by the Delhi police. He too, again, an office bearer, the state secretary of Bihar Congress. The Vice President of Bihar Congress was also present at that particular protest. Ajay Kumar is his name. He's been identified by the Delhi police. Whether all 4 of these are named in the FIR, they are booked or not, that's something that we are watching out for. But these 4 individuals were identified by the Delhi police when they were taken into detention right after that protest. Now, investigations continue as to how they got entry in the first place, what kind of management there was at the venue for this particular summit, whether they had legitimate visitor or delegate badges, all of which will be investigated. But the political fireworks on the sidelines continues. Now, Pallavi, as far as the Congress is going, they have justified this, at least the Youth Congress. Do you think that there is going to be backlash in terms that the BJP could also hit the streets in protest?
I wouldn't be too surprised, and I wouldn't put it beyond them. And in fact, Poonam, let's Zada guess, wouldn't be too surprised if they come out with some kind of a banyan campaign to hit out at the Congress party. Look, any political party has a right to criticize and oppose the government's policies. But even in that, there's a Lakshman Rekha. Even in that, a Maryada is followed. When it comes to an event like the AI summit, it was not about the BJP. It was not about the central government. It was actually about the entire idea of India. There was an international media which was present there. The international dignitaries and heads of government and state were all present there. And then you have this gang, the Banyan gang, who just walked in there, take off their shirts, and then they're shouting slogans against the Prime Minister. Even within the Congress party, though no one is going to be very open about it yet, Poonam, even within the Congress party, they're very uncomfortable with what the scenes which are being played out. They said if you wanted to protest, there were places you could have done it. You could have done it outside. What was the need to do it? But more than that, it is also a security hazard. What if things had gone out of control? What if, major security mishap would have happened? That is the reason why the Congress party, I would say, is caught in a very, very tight situation.
Absolutely, and perhaps that explains the silence so far that we've seen from the top spokespersons, from top leaders of the Congress party, who so far haven't come out and said a word of what's transpired, even though the BJP is mounting pressure on the Grand Old Party. Do stay on with us. We have more information that's now trickling in. Like I said earlier, there are at least 4 to 5 people that were detained from this particular protest, and Delhi police has now shared the picture of one of those individuals. Narasimha Yadav, the national coordinator of Indian Youth Congress, was one of those people who was detained in this particular matter. His pictures from custody has now been shared by the Delhi police. That image on your screens is the individual who was indulging, who is believed to be behind this entire protest that we saw at Bharat Mandapam. Anvit joining us, getting us more details on this. Anvit, so far there's only detention is what we've heard of from the police. No FIR is what we're learning.
See, the police are on their way to file an FIR. It is currently underway, and severe sections will be slapped, is what senior officials have told us. Short while ago, we spoke to additional CP of the New Delhi, Devesh Mahela, and he confirmed that legal options are being looked at and severe sections are being looked at that will be put into the FIR, and FIR is being currently lodged against these 4 who have been detained. They will formally be arrested in a short while. At the same time, police are also trying to identify others, because it was a group of 10 to 12 men who were there inside the Bharat Mandapam hall number 5 in the lobby area when they started their protest. So efforts are being taken, and from the CCTV footages and witnesses who were there, efforts are being made to arrest the others also who were there in the group. Other than that, the senior officers have also confirmed that it looks like a pre-planted move and attempt, and because all the prerequisites were meticulously met, QR codes were obtained, and t-shirts were worn and the jackets were worn above them, and it was in a planned manner that they entered the venue and then took off their jackets and started protesting. So all of this is being looked into. Also, police are trying to find out that once they had entered the venue, did they confirm it to anyone that they're inside? Were they acting on anyone's directions? So all of that is also being looked into. The 4 persons who have been detained, they will formally shortly be arrested. Their phones have been detained, their electronic devices have been taken, and it is also being identified where do they live currently, or temporary addresses and permanent addresses all are being looked at. So the teams could be sent there also to detain and to collect all the electronic devices which they could have used to stay in touch, not just amongst themselves but also with the probably with the senior leadership whether in Congress or any other outfit. So their outfit affiliation is also something that the police are looking at, and we are being told by the senior officials that FIR shortly will be registered and stringent sections will be slapped. 4 persons have been detained, and they'll shortly be arrested, while efforts are being made to identify others and nab them too.
Right, so efforts are on to nab these individuals. That's something that is being looked at. But whether there is a larger conspiracy or not, that's something that is going to be looked at. But Pallavi, as far as the BJP is concerned, they don't think this is an isolated incident, or that it was just the Youth Congress that could have planned this. The BJP believes that there was a larger plot at hand, and the senior leadership of the Congress was very much in the know.
When I did speak to Uday Chib, who is the Youth Congress president, I did ask him, and he kind of inadvertently said it also, Poonam, that he's aware, he's seen the video, and he was aware of what was happening. So it is not that the leadership was unaware of it. These things just cannot happen suddenly or spontaneously. As Anvit was correctly pointed out, those specially designed t-shirts were taken there. They were covered by a jacket. You have a QR code. Just about anybody cannot just walk into Bharat Mandapam during the AI summit. We would all have to register ourselves. We require the QR code, which would be scanned, and then we can go in. So once you have that code, you're considered to be a legitimate entrance to the AI summit, and that is how these Youth Congress workers and leaders went in. So it was all very well thought out. They have also chosen the last day. See, tomorrow is the day when it's going to be open to the armed Janata. Today was the last day where the Prime Minister interacted with some AI representative, Some heads of governments are giving interviews. They are also having debriefing sessions. So they planned it in such a manner that the takeoff, or I would say the big takeaway from the AI summit, would be these unruly scenes, the ugly scenes which have been created by the Youth Congress. And I can tell you this about Poonam. Why is it that the Youth Congress is unrepentant? Because they feel that we've got all the attention. Jo hoga dekha jayega, but at least people are talking about it.
But are these really the headlines that one should be talking about, Ananya? That's really the big point. I mean, over the last 4 days, ever since we've seen the AI summit get underway, tech innovators, global honchos, world leaders have come out and praised India's story. And here we have the summit making headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Well, absolutely. In fact, the Congress party believing that, even bad publicity is good publicity. But how much would it snowball for them is something that we'll have to wait and watch for, because already a political war of words has broken out and everybody is heating out at the kind of forum choice that, these youth Congress workers took as far as things are concerned. Nobody is questioning the right to protest, but also we have to see that we are on a global stage. India is hosting a global event. Tech giants were there, world leaders were there, and more importantly, Congress's, senior leadership and a CM of a particular state, Revanth Reddy, was there, and that is something that gives a very hypocritic end to the Congress party as well. But the legal aspect of it, the investigative aspect of it is we'll have to wait as to what kind of sections would the Delhi police be invoking, because this was a world stage where the country's reputation was at a stake. Whether they would be left with in fact bailable charges, which is generally done as far as protest cases are concerned, or whether there would be certain kind of a stringent charge that could be pushed against these particular individuals is something that we'll have to wait and watch for, because the prima facie view of the Delhi police is that it was a pre-planned incident, as Anvit was also pointing out, that they had these t-shirts on, they had a proper registration, the QR badges, and they entered the venue very legally. But what they committed was something that disgraced the country on a national level, on in fact an international level.
Right. So the issue here is that, well, everybody in this country has a right to protest. They have the right to make their opinions heard. But is this the time and place for the principal opposition party of the country to raise the kind of questions that they are raising? Over the last 3 days, we've seen the kind of praise that has come to the fore for India's story, for the growth that India has shown in the arena of artificial intelligence, what the future holds for India. And at such a time, to take the conversation away from that particular story to these kind of protests, that's something that the Congress is facing flack for. At least 4 people were detained is what we were learning. Whether there are more people that are going to be arrested or not, that's something that needs to be looked into. In fact, the information that's now trickling in is that those 4 individuals of the Indian Youth Congress who were protesting at Bharat Mandapam have now all been placed under arrest officially. They will be produced in Patiala House Court in just a short while from now. Anvit getting us more details. Yes, Anvit.
Poonam, expected is that police will seek their custody to interrogate them further to find out if there was a larger conspiracy behind this act, because police have been saying since the beginning that since this incident took place and since police came into the picture and they were detained and they were taken to detention center, and then their preliminary interrogation that has happened, they are saying that it was pre-planned. It appears to be there has been a meticulous planning, because all the requirements to enter the venue were met days ahead of the event, and also the t-shirts that were designed in particular manner. So it clearly charts out that there was detailed planning. Police wants to know now that also senior officials we have spoken to, they have said that they're trying to identify that once they had entered the venue, was someone in touch with them, were they being directed by someone, their outfit affiliation is also being looked at. So for all of that, they would require their custody. So their questioning will be done, detailed questioning will be done. It is expected that once they are produced at Patiala House Court, their police, Delhi police would seek their custody, and then based on that, once they are sent into custody, then detailed questioning and interrogation will take place. Statements will be recorded, not only theirs but also of the witnesses and the police who were present at the spot, because they were senior officials also. It's a VIP venue, so they were not the multi-layered security, and all the security officials who had rushed to the spot following this protest and who had detained them and contained them, their statements will also be recorded. Based on that, scientific evidence like their cell phones, if they had any locations of cell phone, dump data will be collected to ascertain scientifically that that their presence in Bharat Mandapam, and then thereafter their data from the phone will also be retracted to find out if they were in touch with someone. Were there any other motive than just political? Could there be any financial motivations also? So all of that will be looked into. So for that, police would need their custody to go into further details. We are learning that police are also trying to identify where do they live, what were their temporary addresses or the permanent ones, so that teams could be sent there also. If they belong to different states, police of that states will also be contacted and their teams will be sent to their houses. So electronic devices can be seized. The people known to them can be questioned to identify if the motive was only political or there could be a larger conspiracy in this case.
Right. Anvit, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. We'll, of course, keep a track of this big story here on CNN News 18 and what action follows legally for these individuals and, of course, the political face-off that continues on the sidelines. For now, though, it's time for a quick break on this edition.
As Tamil Nadu, one of India's most influential states in politics and culture, heads towards the assembly elections, politicians, policymakers, and top voices from business, culture, entertainment will come together for high-impact conversations around governance, development, culture, and issues shaping everyday life, where leaders meet creators, policy meets popular voice, and perspectives collide. For News 18 Network, Town Hall to answer the questions that truly matter. News 18 Network, Town Hall, Chennai, 23rd February 2026 at 10 a.m. Brought to you by Tata Motors Commercial Vehicles. Better always. This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
There's a piece of breaking news that's coming in just now. Workers of the Indian Youth Congress have raised their voice against the Prime Minister over the Indo-US trade deal. They have in fact staged a protest at the AI Impact Summit at Bharat Mandapam in Delhi. This is a protest that is being staged by the Indian Youth Congress. Even as we speak, this is happening at the AI Impact Summit in Bharat Mandapam. Remember, this is a high-profile event, India showcasing its might and prospects in the AI field, but you have the Indian Youth Congress there politicizing the event, trying to stage a protest. They are saying they are trying to raise their voice against Prime Minister over the Indo-US trade deal, but serious questions being raised on the occasion and the place that they have chose to hold this protest in Delhi. These are the workers of the Indian Youth Congress who staged this protest. The protest is being staged at the AI Impact Summit in Delhi. Remember, the summit is on at the Bharat Mandapam, and right now the Indian Youth Congress workers have reached there and they are holding this protest. There will be severe criticism of the Indian Youth Congress for going ahead and holding this protest at a flagship event that has been done or being held to showcase India's AI might and also to showcase companies from India doing significant work in the world of artificial intelligence. In fact, CNN News 18's Pallavi Ghosh now joins us for more on this. Pallavi, such a crucial event for the country and India's AI industry, and now you have the Indian Youth Congress deciding to politicize it with this particular protest that is on the India-US trade deal.
See, Harish, you may have differences with the government on any issue. You want to kind of criticize them, which is also considered to be legitimate. There have been occasions when the opposition parties have wanted to criticize, for example, the AI summit. But these are actually global events, and we've all been reporting on the fact that there have been so many dignitaries who've come in from across the world. And here, the summit is representing the idea of India. It is not just about the government, it's not about the BJP, it's not just about the Prime Minister, it's the entire idea of India. And in such events, you put your best foot forward, but you also speak in one voice and you sink in your differences. as these scenes get played out across our channel, it just goes on to show that how petty the criticism can be. I mean, you know, you're going topless. There are dignitaries there. There are people, special invitees who have come. There are common people also who are going to take part in the expo tomorrow as well. And there you are chanting slogans against the Prime Minister and calling him a complete sellout. This is something which is absolutely unacceptable. I would wait to see whether the Congress party is going to come out with any structured response to these kind of incidents which have taken place.
Absolutely. And Pallavi, perhaps everyone would have hoped that this AI summit sends the right message to the world on what India can do in the world of AI. But completely that being hijacked by this protest, many would ask on whether this had the blessings of the Congress party itself, or was it just the Indian Youth Congress and a few leaders who've gone ahead and decided to hold this protest?
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, you know, the point which the BJP often makes is that whenever these events are held, it is to showcase the idea of India. And you know, Harish, frankly speaking, it is not that everything is going to be hunky-dory and perfect. Of course, there could be slip-ups and the government has taken cognizance of that. But you know, you cannot have a bunch of Youth Congress workers who have just walked in there, they've taken off their shirts, they've taken on their clothes, they're carrying on a slogan against the Prime Minister, calling him a sellout, where most probably the international media is watching. These are going to be reflected world over. How is it going to, one, make the Youth Congress also look, and second, the longer the Congress party remains silent and does not condemn it, the worse it is going to be. And the third, of course, is the fact that you're demeaning your own country publicly.
Yes. In fact, Siddhant joins us from Bharat Mandapam. Siddhant, we've seen the Congress being criticized for going ahead and talking about domestic politics in events that they've held abroad. Now, at an international event, you have them going ahead and holding a protest that could possibly tarnish the country's image.
Well, that's right, Harish. In fact, this is happening for the second time at Bharat Mandapam. The first embarrassment was the Galgotia Pavilion, and perhaps now today, again an embarrassment for the country as some few Congress workers barged into the expo halls at Bharat Mandapam and you know, took out their T-shirts and raised slogans against the government. Perhaps something which was unexpected, and in fact, as you rightly pointed out, Harish, there were a lot of foreign delegates, foreign media, you know, tech innovators, industry leaders, all were present at the expo hall when these bunch of Congress workers got into the expo halls and took out their T-shirts and started protesting. Now, again, an embarrassment for the country. Because you know, usually in the national capital, Harish, if any political party wants to protest or stage protest anywhere, then for that there is a prior permission which needs to be taken. Perhaps you know, this was out of sudden, and it is definitely a risk to the security of the Bharat Mandapam also, that how did these political activists, Congress workers could get into the hall, and why there was no security arrangement to stop such people, such protests. So actually, Harish, today the pavilion is open for all. There are you know, many people today. Yesterday it was a big day, so you know, pavilion was closed for the normal man, common man. But today it is open, so there are a lot of people standing in queue to trying to get into Bharat Mandapam to see the expo, to experience the historic AI Action Summit. But again, a huge embarrassment, as I said, that on one end where India is providing global high table to the countries from the global south in artificial intelligence, on the other end, you know, Congress party workers are barging inside the Bharat Mandapam and
Welcome back. You're watching Nation at 5 with me, Poonam Burde. Karnataka Public Works Minister Satish Jarkiholi has now triggered a big storm in the state after admitting that commission and kickback culture continues to exist in the state's governance. He says it existed in the past, it exists now, it will exist in the future as well. Speaking amid rising pressure from the Karnataka State Contractors Association, the minister said that while the government aims to regulate illegal payments, they remain difficult to fully eliminate across different levels of bureaucracy. Now, this comes at a time when for the Congress party, which had campaigned against the previous regime's alleged 40% commission culture, it is now the BJP turning tables on them. Contractors have announced a major protest on the 6th of March, demanding clearance of these pending bills, which run up to over 37,000 crore. Meanwhile, the BJP has slammed the Siddaramaiah government, accusing it of systemic corruption, claiming that a government that promises welfare only delivers commissions.
ಅದು ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಹಿಂದೂ ಇದೆ, ಇವತ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, ನಾಳೆ ಇರ್ತೈತೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವ ಹಂತಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋಲ್ರಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡಿಯೋರು ಈ ಕಡೆ ಒಬ್ಬಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ಒಬ್ಬಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆರೋಪ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ಆರೋಪ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಿಂದೂ ಇದೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಇರ್ತೈತೆ, ನಾಳೆ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ನಿಯಂತ್ರಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಹಾಕಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿ ನಾ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಮ್ಯಾಗ ಆರೋಪ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ.
Contractors in Karnataka state have threatened to go on a strike even before they have said that we want to leave our work because their unpaid bills are now worth 37,000 crores. And they are alleging that the Congress government is taking huge scam, corruption, bribes in order to clear their pending bills. Rather than address this issue, the minister in Karnataka government, Satish Jarkiholi, says corruption will always exist in government work. Ye to chalta rahega ji. It will keep happening. So he is justifying the corruption. Rather than act on it, he is saying yes, it will happen, it will continue to happen. Congress means corruption. And in Karnataka, they have looted the state. Scam after scam has taken place. And the contractor scam is the mother of all scams. 37,000 crore plus rupees.
Harish, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Harish, what's been the reaction from the Congress in Karnataka over this? I mean, a candid admission like that is bound to do some damage for the party and its image, isn't it?
Well, in fact, the Congress party has now come out and said that these contractors have been making these wild allegations for the last couple of years, but none of them have really gone ahead and submitted a complaint to the Lokayukt. And they are saying if these contractors have any proof, then one, it should either be submitted to the government, which can then order a probe, or they should ideally go to the Lokayukt and give the evidence that they have, so that a formal anti-corruption probe can be started against those who've sought these commissions. The other aspect they've highlighted here is that the Karnataka State Contractors Association is talking about 37,000 crore rupees as a pending bill, but they're not talking about how a large chunk of this money is contracts that were given out during Basuraj Bommai government's tenure when he was about to exit office in his last few months. And they are saying the Congress did not allocate money, they just went ahead and cleared tenders, but there was no money that was allocated or set aside in the budget.
Right, so these allegations are coming in from the Contractors Association, but where is the proof is what the Congress is asking. That hasn't really killed the debate as the BJP continues to mount the pressure on the Congress party there, even though this was a plank that the Congress had used against the erstwhile BJP government in the state of Karnataka. Shifting focus from Karnataka to Kerala now, where controversy is swirling around a movie, The Kerala Story 2. And while that controversy rages there, the State Tourism Board has chosen irony over outrage. They've taken a jibe at the upcoming film now, whose trailer shows a young Hindu woman being force-fed beef by her Muslim in-laws. The Kerala Tourism Development Corporation has now shared a post on social media with the words, "No beef with anyone. That's our recipe for happiness." The post has now gone viral, with people sharing their favorite beef combos and recipes on their posts. Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan, remember, had issued a strongly worded statement condemning this film, claiming that it hate mongers and it's a mere piece of propaganda, a charge that the filmmakers have outrightly denied.
देखिए, जो पहला फिल्म जो था केरला स्टोरी, वो तो नफरत फैलाने वाला फिल्म ही है और उसमें कोई बुनियाद नहीं थे. कह रहे थे कि हज़ारों लोग कन्वर्ट हो गया, ये सही नहीं है. मेरे ख्याल में कुल मिला के कुछ सालों में करीब 30 केस ऐसे कुछ थे, और जो कहानी वो बता रहा था वो सिर्फ कुछ लड़कियों के हुए थे. देखिए, हमारे देश तो बड़े देश हैं. अगर इधर उधर कुछ होते हैं उसका मतलब नहीं कि आप उसको बना के बहुत बड़ा कहानी बना के प्रोपेगेंडा कर दे. हिंदू मुसलमान ईसाई सब एक साथ रहें, यही भारत की उद्देश्य होना चाहिए मेरे ख्याल में.
Mr. Muralidharan, the Chief Minister, the opposition leader have all come out against this movie Kerala Story 2, saying that this is a hate propaganda against the state, against the secular credentials of the state and trying to portray the state in a certain light. How are you seeing this?
See, I don't know on what basis they are making this such outrageous statements. I am not aware whether any film that is produced in Kerala is first shown to the Chief Minister or the opposition leader. So they are expressing their opinions on issues which they have no authority or they have no knowledge. So this is making use of this opportunity to gain some votes on the basis of some particular religion, because both of them are fighting amongst themselves to gain the support of a particular religion. So they feel that if this Kerala story is opposed, then the religion that they have in mind will support them. Let us wait for the film to be released. Let us wait for the certification by the censor board, and then we will form an opinion. Because constitutionally, the film censor board has the authority. And if anybody has any objection to that, there are legal means of opposing that. They can object to that. They can go to the court. Why they are not using the legal means? It means they are sure that their standpoint, their point of view will not stand in the court of law. So that means their viewpoint is unconstitutional.
कर नहीं पाएंगे, कोशिश लाख कर ले। बंगाल स्टोरी, केरला स्टोरी, कश्मीर स्टोरी, रियल स्टोरी ये है कोएग्जिस्टेंस की, इस देश की साझा अस्तित्व की है, साझा जीने की है। उसमें विसंगतियां आती हैं कभी कभी, लेकिन क्या हम मान लें कि इस देश में सह अस्तित्व का कोई मतलब नहीं है? तो इस तरह की फिल्मों, ये जो जॉनर है, ये प्रोपेगेंडा फिल्म का जॉनर है, ये कुछ हासिल करने के लिए किया जाता है, और खास करके जब चुनाव नजदीक हो। लेकिन ये हकीकत तो नहीं बदल सकते कि केरल आपके पूरे देश में एक उदाहरण है कोएग्जिस्टेंस का। हर मानक पे केरल से बाकी राज्य बहुत पीछे हैं।
Neetu, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Neetu, as we're seeing that storm over the film, which is to release in a week's time from now, Kerala Tourism there and the Kerala government putting out this quip on social media, reacting to one particular scene that they have taken objection to in that film.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Neetu, the Kerala government there has put out this video on social media, if you've taken a look at that, which talks about no beef with anyone. That's a clear signal of what they're trying to do, because there is one particular scene in this film and the film's trailer which has now gone viral, where this Hindu woman is being force-fed beef. That's something that the Kerala government is now responding to.
Now, see, this is this was a tweet that has been put out from the official handle of the Kerala Tourism Department. They had put it out yesterday itself, claiming that we don't have beef anyone, and they have said that that is why that is our recipe for happiness, and that is what they have put it out in their Twitter handle also. Now, it's not just the Kerala government or the opposition leader. If you look at ever since this trailer came out, this one scene where the protagonist is being force-fed beef, that has not really gone well with the people of Kerala. Now, across, if you look at it, we can see online and offline several criticism against this, several memes and trolls that has come out against this scene from Malayalis across, irrespective of religion or caste. That is what we are seeing against this particular scene in the trailer where someone is being force-fed beef. So that is something which has not gone well with a lot of people in the state of Kerala. Malayalis residing anywhere, if you look at one scan through the social media, that is what we can see. Now, coming to the politics of this, definitely the Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan began this with a very sharp criticism against the movie, saying that this is a hate propaganda against a state. And he goes on to question, when movies don't get censor certificate right now for several reasons, even when there is a name of a goddess in a movie title, or when the title of a movie is beef, and that doesn't get this INB ministry's permission to even be played at an international film festival. So at a situation like that, when there is things like this happening, how can a movie which is portraying one state in a different light, in a hate propaganda against one state, how can they get censor certificate? This is also something which Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has raised. Now, it's not just the LDF or the ruling front, but the main opposition, the Congress-led UDF, also has similar views when it comes to Kerala story and what is being happening related to that. Now, the BJP is saying that these are the people who talks about freedom of speech and expression. So why do they have a problem related to this? And they go on to say that they are not having a stand, but let the movie be released.
It will be released next week, so we'll wait and watch as to what happens. But for the moment, Neetu, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. Shifting focus now to news coming in from our neighborhood. Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has reportedly failed to secure a scheduled bilateral meeting with US President Donald Trump. Tensions seem to be rising between Islamabad and Washington. This is over troop deployment in Gaza. Remember, this comes just after Donald Trump held the first border peace meeting over Gaza. Several countries are going to be putting their soldiers on ground. That was announced by the US President. Pakistan did not feature in it. Pakistan's Field Marshal Munir has skipped the scheduled US visit as well, is what we're given to understand. Anand Narasimhan, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Anand, what more can you share with us?
Well, there is no money, then we don't need your troops. That's the message that's come. There is a 5 billion coppers that's been announced with each of the nations who are part of this entire Gaza Board of Peace coughing up $1 billion each. And that was somewhere, that was the standard condition, even though Pakistan said we'd like to be part of this Gaza Board of Peace, etc. Point is that they are going with a begging bowl to the world. They don't have the money. So if they don't have the money, we don't need your troops. That seems to be the message. And somewhere, the Pakistanis are being put in place by the Americans because the bilateral meetings that Shahbaz Sharif sought are not happening. Asim Munir has cut short his trip also to the US. These are all only small, basic, important sidebar meetings which are happening. And I think somewhere the message is you fulfill your commitment and deploy Pakistan troops in Gaza. That's when we will try and talk and get you on board. So one is pay the money. The other thing is Pakistan said we want to be part of the board, but we will not deploy our troops in Gaza because they were caught in a bind when the question was asked, will you shoot at the Hamas? Will you shoot at Muslims? Will you shoot at those people whose cause you espouse? So that's where they were caught in a pickle yet again, and they walked into quicksand there, and they are trying to wade out of it. So the Americans are saying, listen, if you cannot deploy your troops, if you cannot fulfill your commitment towards it, we don't need you. We'll handle it ourselves. So that seems to be the message. Top diplomatic source in Washington is sharing this information that the Trump administration is not happy with Pakistan's field marshal over Gaza troops deployment issue. They're further saying that Asim Munir had promised Pakistani troops for Gaza with President Trump in Davos meeting and had sought a secret deal with the US too. But then Asim Munir met US Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Munich and requested more time for deployment of troops in Gaza, and that's not gone down with the US.
Right.
And they said that there are internal troubles for Pakistan, and that's why the military is stretched and they need some more time. The Americans have said, okay, take your time, but we don't want you till the time you find the time and the troops.
Right, so major embarrassment there coming to the fore for Pakistan once again at the hands of somebody they've been trying to please for far too long. But for the moment, Anand, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. On that note, it's time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5. But news and updates continue here on CNN News 18. Don't go anywhere.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
There's a piece of breaking news that's coming in just now. Workers of the Indian Youth Congress have raised their voice against the Prime Minister over the Indo-US trade deal. They have in fact staged a protest at the AI Impact Summit at Bharat Mandapam in Delhi. This is a protest that is being staged by the Indian Youth Congress. Even as we speak, this is happening at the AI Impact Summit in Bharat Mandapam. Remember, this is a high-profile event. India showcasing its might and prospects in the AI field, but you have the Indian Youth Congress there politicizing the event, trying to stage a protest. They are saying they're trying to raise their voice against Prime Minister over the Indo-US trade deal, but serious questions being raised on the occasion and the place that they've chose to hold this protest in Delhi. These are the workers of the Indian Youth Congress who staged this protest. The protest is being staged at the AI Impact Summit in Delhi. Remember, the summit is on at the Bharat Mandapam, and right now the Indian Youth Congress workers have reached there and they are holding this protest. There will be severe criticism of the Indian Youth Congress for going ahead and holding this protest at a flagship event that has been done or being held to showcase India's AI might and also to showcase companies from India doing significant work in the world of artificial intelligence. In fact, CNN News 18's Pallavi Ghosh now joins us for more on this. Pallavi, such a crucial event for the country and India's AI industry, and now you have the Indian Youth Congress deciding to politicize it with this particular protest that is on the India-US trade deal.
See, Harish, you may have differences with the government on any issue. You want to kind of criticize them, which is also considered to be legitimate. There have been occasions when the opposition parties have wanted to criticize, for example, the AI summit. But these are actually global events, and we've all been reporting on the fact that there have been so many dignitaries who've come in from across the world. And here, the summit is representing the idea of India. It is not just about the government. It's not about the BJP. It's not just about the Prime Minister. It's the entire idea of India. And in such events, you put your best foot forward, but you also speak in one voice and you sink in your differences. As these scenes get played out across our channel, it just goes on to show that how petty the criticism can be. I mean, you know, you're going topless. There are dignitaries there. There are people, special invitees who have come. There are common people also who are going to take part in the expo tomorrow as well. And there you are chanting slogans against the Prime Minister and calling him a complete sellout. This is something which is absolutely unacceptable. I would wait to see whether the Congress party is going to come out with any structured response to these kind of incidents which have taken place.
Absolutely. And Pallavi, perhaps everyone would have hoped that this AI summit sends the right message to the world on what India can do in the world of AI. But completely that being hijacked by this protest, many would ask on whether this had the blessings of the Congress party itself, or was it just the Indian Youth Congress and a few leaders who've gone ahead and decided to hold this protest?
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, you know, the point which the BJP often makes is that whenever these events are held, it is to showcase the idea of India. And you know, Harish, frankly speaking, it is not that everything is going to be hunky-dory and perfect. Of course, there could be slip-ups, and the government has taken cognizance of that. But you know, you cannot have a bunch of Youth Congress workers who have just walked in there, they've taken off their shirts, they've taken on their clothes, they're carrying on a slogan against the Prime Minister, calling him a sellout, where most probably the international media is watching. These are going to be reflected world over. How is it going to, one, make the Youth Congress also look, and second, the longer the Congress party remains silent and does not condemn it, the worse it is going to be. And the third, of course, is the fact that you're demeaning your own country publicly.
Yes. In fact, Siddhant joins us from Bharat Mandapam. Siddhant, we've seen the Congress being criticized for going ahead and talking about domestic politics in events that they've held abroad. Now, at an international event, you have them going ahead and holding a protest that could possibly tarnish the country's image.
Well, that's right, Harish. In fact, this is happening for the second time at Bharat Mandapam. The first embarrassment was the Galgotia Pavilion, and perhaps now today, again an embarrassment for the country as some few Congress workers barged into the expo halls at Bharat Mandapam and took out their T-shirts and raised slogans against the government. Perhaps something which was unexpected, and in fact, as you rightly pointed out, Harish, there were a lot of foreign delegates, foreign media, tech innovators, industry leaders, all were present at the expo hall when these bunch of Congress workers got into the expo halls and took out their T-shirts and started protesting. Now, again, an embarrassment for the country. Because usually in the national capital, Harish, if any political party wants to protest or stage protest anywhere, then for that there is a prior permission which needs to be taken. Perhaps this was out of sudden, and it is definitely a risk to the security of the Bharat Mandapam also, that how did these political activists, Congress workers could get into the hall, and why there was no security arrangement to stop such people, such protests. So actually, Harish, today the pavilion is open for all. There are many people today. Yesterday it was a big day, so pavilion was closed for the normal man, common man. But today it is open, so there are a lot of people standing in queue to trying to get into Bharat Mandapam to see the expo, to experience the historic AI Action Summit. But again, a huge embarrassment, as I said, that on one end where India is providing global high table to the countries from the global south in artificial intelligence, on the other end, Congress party workers are barging inside the Bharat Mandapam and creating ruckus.
Well, Siddhant, as you rightly pointed out, perhaps there will be questions raised on what the Delhi police was doing. As you rightly mentioned, several delegates, foreign delegates there, one would assume even diplomats present, and at such a high security venue, if
Thank you so much for staying with us. Sweden's Deputy Prime Minister is among the top global dignitaries that are attending India's AI Impact Summit. While speaking exclusively to CNN News 18's Akanksha Swaroop, the Deputy Prime Minister of Sweden praised India as a key partner in this artificial intelligence world order. Listen into that exclusive conversation. I'm leaving you with that.
You spoke about how India and Europe can, in fact, be partners together in promoting democratic and inclusive AI. I'd like your thoughts.
I mean, it has been a massive and wonderful welcome by beautiful, beautiful India, and the strong leadership that Prime Minister Modi is showing, not least in the matter of AI sovereignty and making sure that AI is available for all, working in the interest of mankind, making sure we actually solve true problems for our citizens within healthcare, within agriculture, and making sure that our industry stands strong for the next era. It is just a very impressive leadership. And for me personally, the way that AI is approaching the regulatory framework, the lawmaking, when it comes to AI that is shifting so fast as AI is, it will be, it's the worst it has ever been now, because AI will be much better even tomorrow. And then you have to have a regulatory framework that dares to apply much more of what I called an innovative improvement. And that is the leadership that India truly is showing now. And I was very happy and honored to be able to talk a little bit with Prime Minister Modi himself on this on Wednesday.
How was that conversation? One heartwarming anecdote?
No, but the way he managed to meet everyone, and the way he took the whole international delegations of presidents, princes, and not least prime ministers.
What do you love about Indian culture?
I would say the way it is so curious, it is very generous and still very proud of what you have to offer.
Right. Your visit is happening at a time when we've forged a historic FTA with EU in a deeply divided geo-economic climate as well, where tariffs are being used as leverage. How do you think EU and India can work together?
I mean, first of all, it's not a coincidence that Sweden is here with the second largest international delegation after France. It is a token of our commitment to India. In these turbulent geopolitical times, Sweden is choosing India for a reason. You're a large democracy, you're moving fast at scale, but you can also be trusted. And if you make a deal with the Swede, that is a handshake that you can trust. That is the reason why I am saying that it is good to partner up with Swedish businesses, and why we already have around 300 Swedish companies already in India. Look forward to making more investments.
I'm glad you say that at a time when US is using tariffs as a leverage. My last question. India and France have vowed to eliminate terror infrastructure through the FATF. How do you think India and Europe can work together towards eliminating terrorism, not just in terms of infrastructure, but also in terms of ideology?
So Sweden is a value-oriented country. We believe in the equal rights, but also worth of all mankind. And this is the reason why we are putting safety, online safety in the AI issues so extremely high. And for us, the free trade agreement is not only an agreement on trade, it is also an investment of long-term relationship that will last for generations. And making sure we uphold those values and fight terrorism together will be part of that long-term together.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Grihatul. Ladies and gentlemen, what we witnessed today was inexplicable and unfurling in real time. In the middle of one of India's biggest global events, the India AI Impact Summit at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi, members of the India Youth Congress suddenly pulled off their shirts, marched into an exhibition hall and began shouting slogans targeted at the Prime Minister and the government. This wasn't a rally on a roadside. This was inside a summit where international leaders, CEOs, policymakers had gathered to talk about technology and the future. The sudden shirtless disturbance stunned delegates and visitors alike, turning conversations about innovation into a political spectacle. The Congress would argue that they were expressing deep frustration about India